Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back. There is an ugly truth out there, and I'm not just talking about the movie itself with Predator Badlands. First, let's talk about the fact that Disney doesn't mind losing money. In fact, they now have a legacy of it, especially when it comes to horror movies and when it comes to the Predator franchise or even Aliens. They just really don't know what to do with it. And if you set all that aside and just look at the dollars and cents, Disney doesn't make sense because this has been a year of losing a lot of money. Let's take a look at Predator Badlands and the giant gaping hole that it's going to leave Disney with at the end of the year, which they can ill afford and can't explain. So, here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers and about 1,000 members, and that takes a little bit of effort, and I just ask for your participation here. Double check you're still subscribed to the channel, and if not, subscribe now. It's absolutely free, and it'll always be free here on this channel. And for a few dollars more, the price of a cup of coffee, you can become a channel member and become a bigger part of the Culturian machine, because we are building quite the machine here to talk about ridiculous things like Predator Badlands losing Disney about $60 million. At least that's what the franchise looks like it's doing right now. You have to remember, this was a $105 million budget, which didn't make a lot of sense to begin with, on a franchise they've never really known what to do with. So, the franchise may return to streaming. May? It definitely is. In fact, that's all Disney does anymore, and not very well. From Matt McGloin over on one of our favorite outlets, Cosmic Book News, we have this story. It's trending under Predator Badlands is sliding fast at the box office, and at this point, it's looking like Disney could take a $60 million loss on the film, if not more. I am rooting for more. You probably are too. After 13 days as of Wednesday, so that's even several days ago at this point, the movie's only earned a domestic total of $69.2 million and internationally $70.1 million. Worldwide, $139 million. That's not enough to justify what's going on with this film now, or perhaps even in the future. The numbers aren't improving. Weekend number 2 cratered as it made just $13 million, a brutal 67.59% drop, signaling that the movie has already burned through its core audience. And this is something that seems to be the norm in Hollywood right now. Right now, when you look at how films are performing, it's the dedicated audience that shows up first and foremost. That's the first weekend, which also bears ill for a film like, let's say, Wicked for Good, where it had a huge opening weekend, but that is probably just about it, since there are other films coming into theaters that people will be far more interested in. But back to the story. With a $105 million budget and the industry standard 2.5 multiplier needed to break even, Badlands must hit $262.5 million worldwide just to stop losing money. And I'm going to say it's actually much higher than that. It's not even going to come close. And again, that's being rather kind. The best case scenario still looks pretty bad for this movie, even if Predator Badlands manages a generous tail, which is unlikely considering its trajectory, and the math is unavoidable. And like I said, nothing's looking terribly good right now. Look, I want to say nice things about the franchises that I like, which Predator is one of them. And, Aliens is another one. Neither of which have performed well recently. Neither of which have I been very excited about. And this one, most especially, I've been disappointed. Unlike my friend Mr. H, I'm really not a fan of the recent television series and thought that actually just aided and abetted the destruction of what I thought would have been a very big franchise going forward for the Walt Disney Company. But let's look at the numbers. The domestic performance as of this moment that I'm recording, $76.5 million. Not nearly enough money to keep touting the horn about the performance of the film. International box office at 83.6 and an overall total of 160 million. This thing is big toast. I mean, not even a little bit. It's likely to be one of the worst performing sci-fi movies of the last decade. And that's actually saying something. Trajectory has actually flattened out when you look at the yellow mustard line here that tells the tale of the tape. There is no upward swing in the future, and there is no chance that this film will cross over the 100 million domestic number that it absolutely needs to do. Overall weekend box office performance isn't just disappointing, it's devastating. From 40 million to 6 million over the course of 3 weekends tells you the tale of the tape. There is no longer an upside to this particular movie. And as we see here, the daily takes are even more disturbing. Watching the number of theaters decline and the amount of interest spiral downwards leaves us with a daily takeaway under 2 million. This is not good at all. And even with the stretch here from Cosmic Book News that it might reach 100 million domestic if it's lucky, which I don't think so, that would add roughly 30 million more to the current domestic at the time that this article was written. Domestic of 100 million, worldwide of 170 million, and let me tell you, that's not doing it. And by the time you do the math, it's pretty simple here. Even with a generous additional ad from international numbers and hitting $200 million in a worldwide finish, you're still going to lose over $60 million realistically. And by the time you add marketing in there, it's even worse off. Worse yet, Badlands is now a franchise risk. It was more risky for this movie to come out and release than it was to just shelve it, which is a position that Disney seems to be finding itself in more and more frequently because they do more irreparable harm by releasing poorly conceived, managed, and directed projects than they are actually capable of doing good by releasing something that's halfway competent, which Disney says doesn't seem to be able to do anymore. Suffice it to say, there was a reason, at least according to the article here, why Disney sent Prey straight to streaming. It didn't see the appeal. It obviously hoped that Badlands would be successful, theoretically, after a slight buildup from some minor excitement around Prey, but even I wasn't capable of ginning up excitement for this particular film because I didn't really enjoy Prey all that much. And this creates what would at best be called an uncertain future for Predator, and probably for Alien as well. What was sold as a fresh direction for the franchise has quickly become a financial liability. And it turns out feminizing your male properties doesn't seem to pay off very well. Something that Disney has been familiar with since, well, the beginning of the Disney Star Wars cycle. all of a sudden can't make anything that appeals to the boys, despite acquiring all the boys' properties through Star Wars and Marvel. And based on this last quarter, we've also learned that this has been detrimental at a rate that Disney was not anticipating, expecting, or prepared for. So I have to ask you, is Predator Badlands worth a $60 million loss, or is Disney going to have to start cutting their losses well in advance when it comes to these feminized male properties? Let me know your thoughts, not only about this movie, but about this particular performance in the comments section down below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not at Predator's Badlands. Or at least not anytime soon.